a guest of distinction.
I'm so happy.
Oh my God, hello.
Hi, oh my God, so nice.
It was told that if ever there had been a moment when the world could be convinced that fairy tales were still possible, it was the radiant afternoon when Travis Kelce, the Kansas City Chiefs' formidable tight end, bent on one knee and asked Taylor Swift, the global pop phenomenon, to be his forever, and witnesses said the atmosphere felt suspended as though time itself had held its breath. And later, when the secret photographs of their engagement surfaced, admirers everywhere were drawn into the enchantment of what looked like a story straight from cinema, yet anchored in raw emotion. And August 31st had already been circled on calendars by Swifties and NFL enthusiasts, but few had foreseen the revelation that would send the internet reeling with joy. For the pictures, soft and unscripted, emerged like beams of light across the digital landscape, portraying Taylor with her hand covering her mouth, her eyes glistening with joyful tears, while Travis knelt before her, grinning so sincerely that even the dazzling diamond ring could not eclipse the brightness of his expression, and the place where it happened was described as nothing less than dreamlike, an emerald garden overflowing with roses, peonies, and suspended petunia wreaths beneath a floral dome where sunlight poured through delicate latticework. And what astonished many was not extravagance but restraint, for there were no flashing cameras, no fireworks, and no throngs of spectators, just two people deeply in love vowing to one another in solitude. And the first image to dominate news sites showed Taylor reclining gently against Travis's shoulder on a white couch framed by an ocean of blossoms, her eyes closed with a serene smile suggesting she had let the entire world fade from her mind for a fleeting instant, while Travis, ever steadfast, clasped her hand in a silent promise never to release it. And once those images scattered across the internet, stories poured forth as friends close to the couple revealed that Travis had devoted weeks to orchestrating the proposal, wishing to construct a memory that felt as though it had been lifted from one of Taylor's most heartfelt ballads. And it was explained that each component had been chosen meticulously, from the dome wrapped in fresh flowers to the gentle music drifting in the background and the seclusion of a garden protected from prying eyes. And yet observers concluded that what made the occasion unforgettable was not the setting but the emotion reflected in Taylor's gaze, the way her tears transformed into laughter as she leaned in to kiss him after whispering yes. And fans across the globe insisted they had been granted a glimpse not merely of a celebrity milestone, but of a love so genuine that it restored faith in happy endings. And reports circulated that Taylor herself added a tender layer to the story when she privately messaged the photographer who had documented the occasion, with her words spreading rapidly after being shared online, saying she adored their work because it was filled with feeling, and she confessed that as she prepared for marriage, she hoped they would also photograph her wedding, offering gladly to showcase their art on her own platforms in return, signing off with a sparkling heart in her name. And to many, the simple gesture was even more touching than the images themselves, since despite her monumental fame, Taylor still expressed gratitude to those who helped her capture life's most precious instance. And for the photographer, the request represented not only an assignment but the realization of a dream, the chance to record the marriage of two figures adored in both sport and music, and admirers everywhere repeated that this reminder of Taylor's humility made them love her even more, and the internet's reaction was volcanic. Hashtags linked to the engagement exploding to the top of worldwide trends within hours, and communities of Swifties and Chiefs fans merged as one, their timelines awash with celebratory notes and creative edits, with one fan posting that they had never truly believed in fairy tales until they saw Taylor and Travis in those pictures, describing it as destiny, while another declared that the way Travis looked at Taylor when he knelt was the gaze of a man certain he had found the one. And major newspapers in America and Britain plastered the photographs across their front pages, proclaiming it the most anticipated proposal of the decade. Though for the fans themselves the magic lay in the subtleties, the intimacy, the sincerity, and the belief that these two celebrities had uncovered a connection transcending their dazzling careers. For Travis had long embodied the world of roaring stadiums and Super Bowl triumphs, while Taylor symbolized sold-out arenas and shells of Grammy Awards, yet their paths had converged at a place of warmth and authenticity. And Travis had confessed in interviews that what he wanted for Taylor was not a life drenched in glitter, but one that felt real, saying she gave happiness to millions, yet deserved a reality that belonged only to them. And Taylor, who for years had sung of heartbreak and recovery, was now described as living out the kind of romance she once could only imagine in song, and speculation swirled quickly that her next album would surely include pieces inspired by this chapter. Melodies shaped not by pain but by steady love, and sources revealed that their families had been aware of the plan all along, with Donna, Travis's mother, overcome with emotion as she watched her son embrace the joy he had always hoped for, and Taylor's parents Andrea and Scott welcoming Travis warmly, remarking that he was genuine and full of respect, and friends within Taylor's famous circle added their congratulations, with one confiding that they had never seen Taylor so happy, that Travis seemed to bring her the calm she had been seeking for years. And as the photograph circulated globally, their inner circle toasted to their joy, while Donna began collecting mementos from the day, preserving photographs, handwritten notes, and even petals from the flowers so that no memory of the milestone would fade. And though media pressure mounted, sources reveal that Taylor and Travis were intent on savoring the glow of engagement rather than racing toward the altar. For after nearly 2 years of a romance, partly conducted in the public gaze, they relished the freedom to now live openly without secrets, and when they formally announced their engagement, it was said to be full of their characteristic humor, calling themselves the English teacher and the gym teacher getting married, signing off with a firecracker and a dynamite emoji, a private joke referencing their TNT nickname, and soon after, the tale of the proposal itself began to spread, as Ed, Travis's father, recounted on an Australian radio show that the couple had planned a dinner, but Travis had first suggested a glass of wine on the patio, and Taylor had likely sensed something unusual when she noticed the sudden abundance of flowers, and Ed remarked that they were two young people completely smitten with one another, and he found it beautiful, and he described how the evening was filled with toasts, tears of joy, and a sense that this was not merely a moment for the couple but for everyone who had ever believed in love's ability to conquer all. And soon speculation grew about the forthcoming wedding, with experts predicting it could rival a royal ceremony in global fascination, while fans imagined every detail, from the dress Taylor might wear to the guest list, and even whether she might sing at her own reception. And many agreed that new songs born from this union were inevitable, yet insiders explained that for now Taylor and Travis sought only to enjoy the quiet of each other's company, trading the noise of their professions for strolls in gardens, shared dinners, and whispered dreams. It was further narrated that as the days following the announcement unfolded, the engagement between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce was no longer just a piece of celebrity news, but had become a cultural phenomenon discussed across continents, and reporters explained that everywhere from talk shows to sports networks, the photographs and the love story were replayed with awe, and people remarked that it was rare for two different industries, music and football, to merge in such a way that entire fan bases seemed united, and insiders added that the couple themselves appeared blissfully unaware of the frenzy, choosing instead to spend time together privately, strolling in gardens, dining with family, and simply celebrating their bond. And a close friend mentioned that Travis had been meticulous not just with the proposal itself, but with planning how to guard their time afterward, ensuring that the days following the reveal would be filled with peace rather than chaos, and Taylor had confided to those near her that she appreciated that effort deeply, saying it showed the depth of his understanding of her world, which so often demanded public appearances. And the story was told that Donna Kelce had kept journaling memories of the proposal, writing down not only her own emotions but recording what Travis had described feeling in the hours leading up to it, so that someday the couple could revisit those words. And sources close to the family insisted that both the Swifts and the Kelces had grown closer through the process, holding small gatherings to celebrate the engagement in intimate ways. And as whispers of wedding planning began to spread, speculation online took on a life of its own, with designers being suggested by fans, venues imagined, and even set lists created by admirers who believed Taylor might indeed perform for her guests. And despite the outpouring of conjecture, those closest to the couple emphasized that there was no rush, explaining that Taylor and Travis wanted to be present in their current joy before moving into the whirlwind of organizing a ceremony certain to draw international headlines. And the narrative revealed that newspapers not only wrote features, but began comparing the engagement to royal unions, one outlet saying it reminded them of the way Diana's story had captivated hearts decades earlier, and in contrast, Others noted that what made this engagement resonate was its simplicity, its intimacy, and its authenticity, proving that sometimes the most memorable events are those not broadcast on grand stages. And fans echoed this sentiment endlessly in their comments, repeating that the absence of spectacle made it all the more enchanting. And further stories emerged of how Travis had sought the blessing of Taylor's parents weeks before the proposal, reportedly sharing with them his intention to honor her, protect her, and ensure her happiness. And Andrea Swift was said to have shed tears of joy upon hearing his words, telling friends that she felt relieved knowing her daughter was in good hands. And Kelce, in another interview, reiterated that this was not merely an engagement between celebrities, but a bond of two genuine individuals whose affection was evident in every gesture. And he smiled as he recalled the exact moment when Taylor's eyes welled with tears as she realized what was unfolding. And he confessed that watching them embrace afterward convinced him fully that they were destined for each other. And friends within Taylor's squad shared screenshots of congratulatory texts, describing how the chat was flooded with heart emojis, sparkling gifs, and joyful exclamations, with one insider joking that the chat had nearly crashed from excitement. And on sports talk shows, analysts who usually discuss Travis's statistics were instead marveling at how the proposal had stolen global attention, with one commentator humorously remarking that Travis had achieved his biggest victory off the field. And music journalists, meanwhile, speculated eagerly about how this love story would inspire Taylor's forthcoming creative work, with one magazine predicting that the songs to come might redefine her career yet again. And in the midst of a speculation, Taylor herself was heard reminding her circle to stay grounded, telling them that what mattered most was not the headlines but the life she and Travis were building quietly each day. And this message, when shared by a close source, went viral once more because fans admired her focus on what was real, and social media trends expanded with phrases like fairy tale love and Swift Kelce magic. And at one point more than 10 million tweets and posts were recorded within 24 hours, breaking engagement records on several platforms. And in a lighter moment, it was revealed that Travis had jokingly teased Taylor about having to win her over with more than just a football ring, a quip that she reportedly found endearing. And she teased back that his proposal had already earned him a permanent place in her lyrics. And sources explained that the two had developed countless inside jokes, many of which appeared in their official engagement announcement, reinforcing how personal and playful they were as a couple. And their joy continued to ripple outward as charities connected to both of them experienced surges in donations, with fans deciding to honor the moment by giving back, a gesture that deeply touched Taylor, who thanked her supporters privately for choosing to celebrate in that way. And as autumn approached, insiders said the couple were planning a short getaway away from cameras, intending to savor time together before the next busy seasons of touring and football began. And those who knew them best confirmed that they valued ordinary moments as much as grand ones, cherishing evenings cooking together, quiet walks, and simple conversations. And friends insisted that this balance was the secret to their happiness. And once again, the storyteller reminded listeners to subscribe so they could stay updated as each chapter of this remarkable romance unfolded in real time. And the narrative pressed on to describe how designers across the globe began drafting dresses in anticipation of being chosen for Taylor's big day, while stadiums joked online about offering themselves as potential venues. And fans speculated on possible bridal party members, with names from Taylor's circle tossed into online discussions. And though all of this speculation continued, those close to Taylor emphasized that she remained focused on enjoying the present. And Travis echoed that sentiment, saying in private that life with her already felt like the dream fulfilled. And observers remarked that perhaps this was what made the story so universally captivating, that two towering figures in their fields had opted for simplicity, gratitude, and authenticity, reminding the world that love itself is the most extraordinary spectacle. And as the months passed, media outlets revisited the engagement repeatedly, highlighting the proposal in year-end recaps, labeling it one of the defining pop culture moments of the decade. And fans continued to res-hair the photographs as though reliving the magic each time. And meanwhile, both families remained quietly thrilled, with Donna Kelce even considering writing a small memoir one day to capture not just the engagement, but the blending of two households. And Andrea Swift was seen supporting the idea wholeheartedly, promising to share her perspective as well. And those close to Taylor whispered that new melodies were indeed taking shape, songs celebrating not only passion but stability, not only romance but partnership, and fans grew ever more eager, convinced that they were about to hear a new era of music unlike anything before. And through it all, the photographs from the proposal remained iconic, symbolizing for millions that fairy tales were not relics of childhood but could be lived realities. And in closing, the story was told that what Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had given to the world was more than entertainment. It was hope, it was joy, and it was a vision of love that bridged stadiums and stages, proving that the brightest lights shine most beautifully when shared. And the Voice concluded with a final invitation urging listeners to subscribe, so they would never miss the continuation of this magical journey that had already inspired millions to believe in love again.